Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvantam Aravindadalayatapsham Bhagavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Agom Hikamaniya Vishesha Shobham
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Śrīmad Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. Sankirtan score report for Tuesday, 10th of May. Books distributed: Jade Prabhu 1 Mahabig for 2 book points, Matsya Matari 1 small 1 Mahabig for 2.25 book points, Kiran Khanna Matari 4 small 2 medium 2 big 2 Mahabig for 8 book points, Arvind Prabhu 1 Bhagavatam set for 72 book points, and Mahalakshmi Matari 21 small 8 medium 10 big 16 Mahabig and 2 Bhagavatam set and 1 Chaitanya Charitamrita set for 231.25 book points. Preaching score: Radhe Chaiba 92 guests for 1,115 Lakshmi points, Gopal's 177 guests for 2,126 Lakshmi points, and Crossways 319 guests for 2,716 Lakshmi points. Lakshmi liberated: Matsya Matari 15, Jade Prabhu 20, Kiran Khanna Matari 54, Arvind Prabhu 300, Retreat Purijan Prabhu 600, Mahalakshmi Matari 1,158, and member services 1,987. That gives a daily total of 4,134 and the weekly total of 17,795 Lakshmi points. Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Śrīmad Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Guru Charana Padma Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakti Sadma Bandamayi Savadhana Mate Bandamayi Savadhana Mate Jahara Prasadevai He Bhavatoriya Jahai Jahai प्राप्ति है जहाँ होइते गुरुमुख पद्मा वाक्या चित से कोरिया है क्या गुरु अरणा करी माने आचा अरणा करी माने आचा ऐसे उत्तम गति जब प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आचा प्रसादे पूरे सर्व आचा चतुर्धाम दिल जय जन्म जन्म प्रभु से चकुदान दिल जय जन्म जन्म प्रभु से जन्म प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकटिता दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकटिता जावते अविद्या बिना चाहते प्रेम भक्ति जावते प्रेम भक्ति जावते अविद्या बिना चाहते प्रेम भक्ति जावते वेद गाय जहाँ रचरिता गाय जा रचरिता श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधमा जनर बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधमा जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोके रतिवाना लोकनाथ लोके रतिवाना आहा प्रभु कर दया दे मोरे पद चाय आहा प्रभु प्रभु कर दया दे मोरे पद चाय प्रभु पाद कर दया दे मोरे पद चाय जाज को शुक्र भुवाना लीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावन जय प्रभुपाद जय Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada Jaya. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale, Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami iti namine. Namah Vishnu Padaya, Prasthaya Bhutale, Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadhi Pachatya Deshatarine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radhe Radha Vallabha Radha Jaya Radha Vallabha Radha Vallabha Radhe Radha Vallabha Radha Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Radha Jaya Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radhe Radha Giridhari Radha Giridhari Radha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadramayi Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadramayi Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Gauranga Jaya Nitai Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Thank you. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavalla Girivaradhari Gopi Janavalla Girivaradhari Jashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande, Jaya Shripad Paramahamsa, Parivrajikacharya, Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta, Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitya Jaya Shripad Paramahamsa, Parivrajikacharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananta Kori, Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 8, Text 19. Daipayano Bhagavan Aprabodhat. Daipayano Bhagavan Aprabodhad Buddhastu Pashanda Gana Pramadat Buddhastu Pashanda Gana Pramadat Kalki Kale Kala Malat Prapatu Kalki Kale Kala Malat Prapatu Dharma Vanayoru Kritavataraha Dharma Vanayoru Kritavataraha Daipayano Bhagavan Pravadat Buddhastu Pashanda Gana Pramadat Kalki Kale Kala Malat Papatu Dharma Vanayuru Kritavataraha. Dvaipayanaha Srila Vyasadeva, the giver of all Vedic knowledge. Bhagavan, the most powerful incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Aprabadhat, from ignorance of the Shastra. Buddhatu, also Lord Buddha. Pasandagana, of atheists creating disillusionment for innocent persons. For innocent persons. Pramadat, from the madness. Kalki, Lord Kalki, the incarnation of Keshava. Kale, of this Kali Yuga. Kalamalat, from the darkness of this age. Prapatu, may he protect. Dharma avanaya, for the protection of religious principles. Uru, very great. Katavatara, who took an incarnation. Translation, may the personality of Godhead in his incarnation as Vyasadeva protect me from all kinds of ignorance resulting from the absence of Vedic knowledge. May Lord Buddhadev protect me from activities opposed to Vedic principles and from laziness that causes one to madly forget the Vedic principles of knowledge and ritualistic actions. May Kalki Dev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared as an incarnation to protect religious principles, protect me from the dirt of the age of Kali. Purport. This verse mentions various incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who appear for various purposes. Srila Vyasadeva Mahamuni compiled the Vedic literatures for the benefit of all human society. If one wants to be protected from the reactions of ignorance, even in this age of Kali, one may consult the books left by Srila Vyasadeva, namely the four Vedas, Sama, Yajura, Rig, and Atharva, the 108 Upanishad, Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Sutra, Mahabharata, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Mahapurana, Vyasadev's commentary on the Brahma Sutra, and the other 17 Puranas. Only by the mercy of Srila Vyasadeva do we have so many volumes of transcendental knowledge to save us from the clutches of ignorance. As described by Srila Jayadev Goswami in his Dasavatar Stotra, Lord Buddha apparently decried the Vedic knowledge. Nindasi Jagya Vidher Ahaya Shruti Jatam Sadaya Hridaya Darshita Pashu Ghatam Keshavadrita Buddha Sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare. The mission of Lord Buddha was to save people from the abominable activities of animal killing and to save the poor animals from being unnecessarily killed. When Pashandas were cheating by killing animals on the plea of sacrificing them in Vedic yagyas, the Lord said, if the Vedic injunctions allow animal killing, I do not accept the Vedic principles. Thus, he actually saved people who acted according to Vedic principles. One should therefore surrender to Lord Buddha so that he can help one avoid misusing the injunctions of the Vedas. The Kalki avatar is the fierce incarnation who vanquishes the classes of the atheists born this age of Kali. Now, in the beginning of Kali Yuga, many irreligious principles are in effect, and as Kali Yuga advances, many pseudo religious principles will certainly be introduced, and people will forget the real religious principles unenunciated by Lord Krishna before the beginning of Kali Yuga, namely principles of surrender unto the lotus feet of the Lord. Unfortunately, because of Kali Yuga, foolish people do not surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. Even most people who claim to belong to the Vedic system of religion are actually opposed to the Vedic principles. Every day, they manufacture a new type of dharma on the plea that whatever one manufactures is also a path of liberation. Atheist men generally say, Jatamat Tatapat. According to this view, there are hundreds and thousands of different opinions in human society, and each opinion is a valid religious principle. This philosophy of rascals has killed the religious principles mentioned in the Vedas. And such philosophies will become increasingly influential as Kali Yuga progresses. In the last stage of Kali Yuga, Kalki Dev, the fierce incarnation of Keshava, will descend to kill all the atheists and will save only the devotees of the Lord. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yeah, so this is how devotees, they approach the Supreme Lord with humility. They're always praying to the Lord to protect us from various miseries and sufferings of this Kali Yuga, and above all, to protect us from Maya, ignorance, illusions, mentioned here, illusion. Dissolution, atheistic, created dissolution for innocent persons, that is in the form of ignorance. So the Lord appears in different forms, in different yugas, and there is primary incarnation of the Lord. And more or less, each incarnation of the Lord, they have a particular purpose and goals of the Lord. And basically, all incarnations of the Lord is that to save us from ignorance, and like it's mentioned here, and to protect his devotees. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there is a decline in irreligiousness arrives in this world, that the Lord appears, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata, vidyanam dharmasya, that he comes to protect and to re-establish the dharma, the religious principles. Of course, the primary purpose of the Lord's incarnation also to perform his pastimes. So therefore, the Lord has different incarnations. One of the incarnations is known as the Lila avatar, to perform his Lila pastimes. Nonetheless, all the incarnation of the Lord has its particular purposes, and that primary incarnation of the Lord, basically, like I said, is to re-establish the dharma and to perform pastimes with his devotees. And this is particularly in this chapter, it's known as the Narayana Kavacha shield. Basically, what is a Narayana Kavacha shield? Narayana, as devotees of the Lord, we take shelter of Krishna, we take shelter of the Lord in the form of the holy name. That is the real shield. So the shield of protection is to take shelter of the holy name. And as, like Prabhupada mentioned here, as Kali Yuga progresses, it's going to get more and more harder for those who are there to perform devotional service for devotees. It's already getting harder. For a devotee, for us as devotees, those who aspiring to be Krishna conscious, those who aspiring to be Krishna's devotee and perform devotional service to increase our love for Krishna and devotion for Krishna, for us, the problem is the influence of Kali Yuga, the influence of ignorance. It's so thick and it's so strong that it pushes us away from Krishna further and further into Maya, the illusory potency covering potency of Krishna in the form of Maya is so strong that it pushes us away. That's why it's a struggle. It's a struggle for devotees. What is Kali Yuga? Is a Kali. It means dark. It's a dark age. This age, we're clouded. Our consciousness is clouded by ignorance. And it becomes harder for us to take shelter of Krishna. It blocks us from taking shelter of Krishna. We forget the religious principles, the Vedic principles here. That's why Vyasadeva wrote these books, because for our deliverance. And particularly mentioned in this purport and in this verse, Buddhadev, Lord Buddha, he is very merciful. Lord Buddha was, as a prince, appeared in a very wealthy, as a prince, and his father didn't want him to go out in the outside world and see what is going on out there. So he was keeping him imprisoned in his palace. But Buddha means one who is intelligent, and intelligent persons want to know more than what his surroundings is. So he wanted to go out, and that in the middle of the night, he got on the horse and went out, and he saw there is so much suffering. Not like what he is thinking. And there's so nice in his palace. There's more suffering out there. And he realized this world is a miserable place. Birth, death, old age, disease. And he was wearing all this jewelry on him and a crown. He threw it all on the ground and he left for the forest. And his purpose is that at that time people were killing animals. Like now, is worse than ever. Slaughterhouses of animals being slaughtered every day. And people think it is normal to eat animals. Just a few days ago, I did a yajna ceremony in a Bengali house. They're from Bangladesh. People are very cultural, they're singing, but they all eat fish and other animals. And somehow people think it's a cultural thing to eat meat. How is that? Every scripture condemns us from not eating animal. And God himself, he's vegetarian. If Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you go ahead, eat meat, we will. But he didn't. So Lord Buddha was condemning. And Vyasadeva, he wrote the four Vedas. All of the Vedas are mentioning that one should abide by the principles of dharma. Dharma samstapa. That's why Krishna, he came to protect us from this ignorance. It's a simple thing, eating. Eating, just eating. What does it make us? Just need something to put in our mouth. Why do we have to kill an animal to eat? You can eat grains, vegetables, fruits. So much is provided for us. We don't need to eat something that's living. Anything that lives, anything that moves has a consciousness. They're moving because there's life in it. That's why you have a book called Life Come From Life. What is life? Life because there's something moving in it. The consciousness is a symptom of a soul. The soul is full of consciousness. That's why devotees of Krishna, we don't even want to hurt an ant. That is the mercy of a Vaishnava, mercy of a compassionate person. What to speak of hurting your own self? Sometimes we do yoga very stretch, very full on. According to the Yoga Shastra, one should aspire to be healthy but not force yourself because it hurts you. And that takes the principle of hurting yourself is known as ahimsa. Hurting yourself What to speak of hurting others? When you say something to someone, you should not hurt them. That's the extent of understanding what is ahimsa. If I say something, you are a dog, then well, you'll feel angry. So we have to say something which is suitable, that you feel. The most suitable thing to say is religious principles, dharma, about God, love of God. Principles from the Vedas. It's all the Vedas. Conclusion of all the Vedas. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, conclusion of all the scriptures is to serve me, is to realize me, is to develop love for me, is to come to me. Ante Narayana Smiti, at the time of death, think of me. So Vyasadeva wrote so many books, and Prabhupada says here, this book is the Bhagavat Purana, Mahapurana, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Only by the mercy of Srila Vyasadeva do we have so many volumes of transcendental knowledge to save us from the clutches of ignorance. This month, all of the devotees in the temple, especially the brahmacharis and those who are on the book drive, are very seriously, very working hard to distribute books. This is why. These books are not just some books that tells you how to, economical book. It's a transcendental knowledge. Derives away ignorance. Spiritual books. This is how we show our compassion. Give knowledge to others. That's what Guru means. Vyasadeva is the ultimate Guru. He gave us this knowledge. He wrote these books for the people of Kali Yuga. And Srila Prabhupada, time and time, emphasize book distribution. Distribute books, distribute books. Even we are going on Harinam, a whole bunch of devotees are on the Harinam, distributing books. So it's a very good combination. We're chanting, at the same time, devotees going around distributing books. Because that people who are standing there interest them to see us. That means they have some interest to Krishna consciousness, what we are doing, what we are singing. Then they want to know a bit more. So then we come around with the books. Then they explains it more in the books. It's Prabhupada's mercy. We have these books, Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Before Prabhupada, all these books were not translated in English. They were in Sanskrit and Bengali. Prabhupada's mercy. These books are now available all the languages. It's His mercy. And when I first joined, they used to tell us, you have to learn English because all Prabhupada's books are in English. Now we can get Tamil books, Bengali books, Arabic. This is His mercy. The languages are there to describe the glories of Krishna, not talk nonsense. All the languages is there to glorify Krishna. That is the purpose of the languages, actually. Not to talk about your food and business. So, Prabhupada, we wanted to speak to Prabhupada. And they said Prabhupada only speaks English because even though he's Bengali, he was speaking English because all his disciples from the US and European. And so some of the Gurukul boys, we had to go and see Prabhupada and say something to him in English. That's part of our English learning. Imagine that. You speak to Prabhupada in English. If you're devotee, it's like talking to Krishna in English. Like Krishna spoke English, I guess, because Prabhupada was speaking. And he chose to go to America. So then, there's 5 of us, we had to see Prabhupada and give him a rose and tell him, please accept this as a gift. My humble obeisances, and say the prayers. And we are all day practicing. My dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most humble obeisances at your lotus feet. And give him the rose, pay your full dandavat. And that's part of our learning because we had to learn English. See how much English we know. And it was so difficult to say obeisances. That's the difficult word, obeisances. I didn't even know what it means. They said, you pay obeisances. Then I knew. So it was very easy to learn English because everybody there was speaking English, except us. And so we knew no Mangalarati, no Pusharam, that's the first English. I'm in charge, that's second English. and then they said, clean the bathroom. We knew the English. Clean your, wash your clothes. We knew that much English. These are all the words they're telling us. And then, so there was 5 of us. 4 of the boys were American, so it was easy for them. Oh no, 3 of them American, 2 of us were Bengali. So for them it was easy, but they were little kids, me too. So it was, they're also learning English because they are little boys. So it was Sivajara, the Swati Maharaji's son, very small kid. They were like, oh, you're all 5 years old, 6 years old. So we're pushing the American boys first, because they already know English. And I was the last. I had a piece of paper. My dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most humble obeisance. Give him the rose. And then everyone was paying their obeisance, and then they sat down in front of him on the gadi. In Mayapur, they have his room. They still have the same way that that's laid out. It was my turn, and I was going. And then I walked in. I said, I said, my dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most. Obeisances is a very difficult word. I was like, obeisances. I couldn't figure it out. I was stuck. And I paid my obeisances, but I didn't say obeisances because I forgot the word. It's a difficult word. So, and I gave him the rose, Prabhupada had a big smile, and he gave us a sweet. Imagine getting a sweet. Sometimes people go in the army, there's no food, they have the special tablet they eat. It's like eating food. That keeps you going the whole day. So I got that coconut laddu, I was like, whew. I didn't have to eat anything the whole day. I was just meditating. Prabhupada slowed his hand, I got the coconut laddu. I didn't want to eat anything. I thought, I'm just experience this coconut laddu that Prabhupada gave from his lotus hand. I just want to keep that in my mouth. I didn't even wash my mouth. The whole day I was tasting that piece of coconut laddu, the back of my teeth. We're like so enamored by Prabhupada, his mercy. It was so crazy. When they washed his feet, the water would disappear. I don't know, somebody would grab and go up somewhere in the building and drink it all. Everybody were running after him, and then people running after the people who were running after him, and then the water's gone. This way it was like a big lila happening. When something Prabhupada gave to someone, you would never see it. When Prabhupada would throw the flower at you, not us, at everyone, each petal was lost. We couldn't find it. Whether you got it in the air or you fall on the ground, you squashed it, and it's all on your dhoti, the stained. And next day we sat down for Bhagavatam class, all our dhoti was stained. Nobody cared. They said, this is stained of Prabhupada's mercy. It's all was different color. Because they were dancing so much that the flowers got squashed onto the floor. So when you sit on a squashed up flower, the stain will get in your dhoti. They didn't even have chemical to get rid of the stained. We will sit, oh, this is all Prabhupada's mercy. And 6 months later, still stained. And Prabhupada's gone to another country, and we still have stained dhotis. This is Prabhupada's mercy, So, Srila Prabhupada's mercy that we have these books translated into English. So originally, when Prabhupada was here, they didn't have these books in different languages. And once, we were all traveling to Allahabad to attend Prabhupada's at Kumbh Mela, 1977. So the bus full of devotees, all sannyasis. It was Guru Kipa, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj, Sudama Maharaj, And so they chose me and a few other Gurukul boys to go with them. So we drove, bus full of devotees drove from Navadip to go to Allahabad. It's from the other side. And so they parked the bus at night at Gaya. Gaya, that's a place where, what's the name? Another name for it? Varanasi. So the bus was attacked at night because bus full of Western people. So the people thought these Americans, they have a lot of money. So we all went to sleep, and Jayapataka Maharaj was guarding the bus overnight. And he spoke Hindi and Bengali, not that well. So apparently he spoke to them. He said, listen, we are sannyasis, we don't have money, we are sadhus. And there was one book that was translated into Hindi. I think that book was the question answer, that book, first book in Hindi. And Jayapataka Maharaj, he ended up selling that book to them. He said, we don't have money, we live on simple prasadam, and we're like beggars, and like this. Maharaj spoke to them in Hindi. And they walked away with books, Prabhupada's books. So it's all the mercy of the previous acharyas, the mercy of Prabhupada, is the mercy of the Vyasadeva that we have these books today in all the different languages. So if you can really understand the principles of Dharma, then we have to study these books, the 4 Vedas. Like I said, the conclusion of the Vedas is devotion to Krishna, is to surrender to Krishna. That's why Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections. Sambandha, Avidaya, Prayajan. The beginning, for the beginning 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita is to establish one's relationship with Krishna, who we are. That's why Krishna says in the 2nd chapter, I'm not this body, dehi nasmi chata dehe. And the middle 6th chapter, Krishna explains devotional service, the process. The process is through service, and explains more extensively. And towards the end of the Bhagavad Gita, the last 6th chapter, the 18th chapter, at the end he says, Sarva dharman parityaja, surrender unto me. The goal of the principles of Dharma is to surrender to me. It's very clear. So those who are doing Bhakti Shastri, this is how they study. And then there is details, how to attain the goal. But ultimately, the principle of the Bhagavad Gita is to surrender to Krishna. Krishna says, surrender to me. Sarva dharman, give up everything, surrender to me. But in middle, he explains it more about different things. You have to do austerity, control the senses. Kama, Isha, Krodha, Isha explained in the 2nd chapter also. 6th chapter, control the senses like this. So, why is it animal killing condemned so much? Because we don't have the authority to take someone else's life. That's one thing. And the deeper principle of that is understand that there is God behind who created. It's his job. Everyone is implicated in the karma. If something is moving, it means there is a derived force in there. There is life energy, that's why it's moving. Why is this cup not moving? Unless I have a magic, I can make the cup to me. I have to pick it up. Why is it that you had to go and bring the water from the ashram? I can just go like that, water will come. But there's no life in it. We have life. That's why you can move it. This thing doesn't have a life. Dead matter. You see, something that has a life, it will find its way to come out of it. Yesterday, Sevi Bhagavan found this a mango tree inside the garbage bin, and we were showing it. Now it's in the ashram, it's growing. They put in the pot plant. When we come back a few years' time, we can eat free fresh mango grown in our ashram. So there's life in there. It's find this way to look for pleasure. It's growing. The earth, their fertile land, it grows. So my point is that life comes from life. There's life. So we don't have the authority to take the life. We are merciful. So we can make them grow into a tree, produce fruits we can offer to Krishna. So don't kill. Atmahana, it's mentioned. Killing of the soul was when we forget Krishna. We are killing ourselves. So when you can remember Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything is solved. Everything will click. Everything we know that what we're meant to do. That gives you 100 points. That's why the Shastra explains it. The purpose of all the religious principles to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the existence of the Supreme Lord. That is Buddha. Buddha means intelligent. In Kali Yuga, our intelligence is covered by ignorance. Gobar, we say gobar, cow dung. Yeah. Sometimes there's nothing inside. They only have intelligence how to punch your finger on the computer keyboard. Tick, 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 tick. But they don't have intelligence to study Prabhupada's books. So people are studying only for livelihood. They are not studying to know more about the purpose of life. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. How to eat night food. Just imagine, in the whole world, no eating. We can just survive by air. Full. You know, so much endeavor just to eat. So much work. Restaurant, farm, supermarket, trucks bringing food from other country, airplanes bringing refrigeration. And then somebody has to create refrigeration. There's a factory to create the nuts and bolts. Just unlimited, just to keep your food in the fridge. Imagine. So no more eating. All that work is no more required. We can just take some air. There's so many trees here. We don't need to give them pizza and apple crumble and custard. They just drink water. You put a bucket of water, the mango tree comes, and some air. That we need to have so much food. This food, that food, and still we are complaining. I didn't get enough, So, all to do with eating. Animal killing is just for the taste of the tongue. Cut your tongue off if you have desire to eat. You can't control it. Cut it off. That's what I would say. Pull it out. You have material desires, just pull it out. It's so long, you can't pull it out. It's like the tree. There are banyan trees. The banyan tree grows here. You can find its roots way over there near the river, ocean. They're so long. So it's mentioned our desire is like a tree root. You can't pull it out easily. It's so big. I remember I went to take a bath in the Ganges. It wasn't a Ganges, some big pond. And I went home. Hours later, I found this thing back of my leg. It was a leech. You know leech? They suck your blood. And they're so creepy. You won't even notice that they're just nicely drinking your blood, back of the leg. I saw, freaked out. And I was trying to pull it. It was like a rubber band. It wasn't coming off. My father said, I have the way. He just put salt and it fell off. I was so angry. I was taking my knife. I was cutting it into 100 pieces. And it was still moving. Damn thing. So our material desire is like that. We're sucking blood on someone's back of the leg. You try to pull it, it doesn't, they're still there. They put salt. So chanting Hare Krishna is the way to take shelter of Krishna, humbly approaching at the lotus feet of Krishna, like it says here. May Lord Keshava protect me with his club in the first portion of the day, and may Govinda, who is always engaged in playing his flute, protect me in the second portion of the body. So we have to pray to the Lord like this. Please protect me. Humbly approach the Lord. Please help me, protect me. I'm helpless. I'm useless. Please protect me. That's the attitude of a devotee. Like a child, Prabhupada says, like a child calling a mother. We're chanting Hare Krishna, we have to approach Krishna. Hare Hare Krishna. Innocently, with devotion. Krishna is there to listen to us, to protect us. He's always there to protect us. Your best friend, your husband, your wife, they all go away. But Krishna is always in our heart. Sridham Sarvabhutanam. Krishna said, I'm the friend of all living entities. He never leaves us. He is our eternal companion. He is our friend. We have so many friends in this world. Sometimes your best friend, they're best cheating you. They take your money, go away. But Krishna is the best friend. He's always in our heart. So he's always there to protect us. This month is the month of Lord Nrsimhadev. Next this Sunday, right? He's going to take his appearance, Lord Nrsimhadev. And Prahlad Maharaj, a small boy, 5 years old, he's clinging on to Lord Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. They gave him poison, enough poison to kill hundreds of men. Prahlad Maharaj said, they gave him this food. He said, eat! Hiranyakashipu said, eat! I did the drama, I know how to act. My dear Dimaniya Father, but first I must offer to Krishna. Just eat! Just one time I was here in Hiranyakashipu. We were in South India actually, when I was in Gurukul. And so we hired all the props. And I was Nrsimhadev, another boy was here in Hiranyakashipu. And we all were wearing metal helmet, like metal helmet, not plastic. So Hiranyakashipu's helmet got scratched. So he was bleeding, really bleeding. And in the drama, he was bleeding, and I was beating him up. I'm Nrsimhadev. So he was on my lap, he was bleeding, and he was crying. And everybody was going, hey, so good drama. Because he actually was really bleeding because it's metal helmet. And then we all went at the back, and we had to call the people with the Band-Aid and medicines. I loved it though. It was, So Nrsimhadev is there to protect his devotees. Lord Krishna is there to protect the devotees. We have to pray to him. If we don't pray to Nrsimhadev, if we don't pray to Krishna, we are here, beautiful Radha Vallabha. He's always there for us. If we don't stand there just saying, just a couple of days ago, there's one guy came in, and he was really praying. I can see his mouth was going off. I don't know what he was praying, and then he took off. I thought if we pray like that, we'll be back at Godhead. But he was maybe praying, please, I want to pass this exam, and please help me to find a job, different things. So we have to pray to Krishna so we can serve him nicely. just a few days ago, I think just a few days ago was Mother's Day. Do you remember? Everybody was, every page in the Facebook was Mother's Day thing. So I thought, I might as well write something too about my mother. So I put this big thing. People are still putting thumbs up, you know. It was all glorious talk. So she used to call me when I was living in China, all the way from India. She used to call me. I gave her a mobile phone just so she can call me, because I'm the only. So she used to say, have you taken your prasadam? Have you eaten? I said, you have anything to say? Like important things? Calling all the way from India. Of course, I'm making sure I eat. So that's mother's love. So I wrote in the thing, I said, she never wanted anything from me. She asked me one time, bring me to Australia. I said, you're not leaving one step out of Mayapur. You're staying in the Holy Dham. I said, okay, whatever you want. So she said, she used to never ask me anything except that I become of Krishna's good devotee. This is the ambition of a devotee. That our desire to serve Krishna, how we can improve in our service to Krishna, how we can be a good devotee of Krishna. Because at the end of life, this is the verdict of all the scriptures, that we are practicing to be a good devotee throughout our life, and at the time of death, it's going to be test. The exam, final exam. The final exam is, are we going to remember Krishna? Everything is going over your face, what you did in your life. Sometimes it happens now. When you feel sick or something, you're in a hospital, you have a dream, a life experience. Don't think, oh, I am 25, I'm young, I can do whatever I like. And there's my friend, what's his name, he comes to sing, Madi, Madan Mohan. He has to take his bladder out, cancer, so many things. He's only young, maybe 30 or younger. So read the scriptures nicely. The Bhagavatam, chant Hare Krishna a bit more sincerely. Am I increasing my love for Krishna? Am I becoming attached to serving Krishna? What am I doing here as a devotee? This is a serious business, being as a human life. See, we have so many Maharajis here, so many devotees. I saw, as I was coming, I saw some of you are running to get to temple 7 o'clock to see the deity. This is good. Very good ambition to get on time to see the deity. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri. He used to run beyond time for Mangalarati to see Lord Jagannath. He himself is God, but he was doing that to show an example. Bhaktavesh, what is to be devotee. So, if we can develop the character of a devotee, compassion, character, there's 6 qualities of a devotee, it's mentioned. Compassion is the primary quality. Humility, merciful to others. So then we will be able to understand more deeply what we are doing when we chant Hare Krishna, more deeply. Any questions? I know you don't want to ask questions because class 1 will finish early. It's only 8:30. We can go after another 5 minutes. You ask questions means it's good for me, then I can expand my understanding. Otherwise, I don't know what to say. I know what to say, but give you a chance to say something or comments. Well, I lived in China for 10 years. 10 years. That's a long time. And there are so many Buddhist temples. Very amazing. Atheistic country, but heaps of Buddhist temple. I love those. They're huge Buddha. There's one Buddha in Hong Kong. It's on a mountain. It's like a hill. So you have to go up. And Buddha's temple, they have vegetarian restaurant. And we used to go and eat there because there's no temple now. We don't have a temple in China. You have to find a devotee, and they're working, and it's all secretive. It's very difficult to have a gathering. And they cook such good Chinese vegetarian, and they write on the wall, no fish, no egg, no onion, no garlic. Very strict. And you go to Indian restaurant, they're putting onion, garlic. They're very strict. Buddhist restaurant. They offer the food to Buddha, and they have nuns, they're singing. So they're very strict about God realization. No matter how strict they are, the government, still, you can't stop people from serving Buddha in China. So I used to think, our devotees also, there are so many restrictions in China that the devotees, a few weeks ago, Radhacharan was giving the class, he was talking about these things. And the devotees, they find a ways. I see them with bead bag in the train, some of them have tilak. They don't care. They're very, very strict devotees. They only have Sunday feast program, heaps of devotees in a small room, very quiet. I was all scared because maybe the KGB will come, so we said put all the shoes inside. People get suspicious what's going on inside. So we do kirtan very softly. The neighbors down here, it's ridiculous. The way I do kirtan here is like, drive me nuts. So whenever I do huge kirtan, I go to Hong Kong, Arati and stuff, because there we can do big kirtans. So the devotees, we need to be very enthusiastic whatever we do. Then we can drive the Maya away. Don't give yourself a gap. Don't give 1 inch. Stay. Your mind says to go somewhere, don't go. Stay here. Even if you're not doing anything, just be part of the temple. That's how strict you have to be. How you have to always to tell yourself. Yeah. Okay, Hare Krishna. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam class ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hare Krishna.